And so the reason why we're having this conversation again months later is because a new report released by Children at Risk has found more than half of Texas zip codes are classified as quality childcare deserts. Joining me live this morning is the organization's Senior Director of Education, Kim Kofron, to talk more about these findings. Kim, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Initially I wanted to start the conversation by you defining childcare deserts, and I think that's still a great place to start. However, when we say quality childcare deserts, what does quality mean?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And so quality is a program that, well, in Texas, we define quality through our Texas Rising Star program, which is a program that is housed and funded through Texas Workforce Commission that looks at all different aspects of quality. So quality is everything that's happening in the classroom, making sure it's development appropriate for the ages of the children, the outside environment, making sure playgrounds and those spaces are appropriate for them. It's the interactions between teachers and children, making sure that each child's getting the attention that they need, the love and support. Those early years are so vital. And so there's different measures that we use for quality. Texas Rising Star is ours here in Texas. There's also lots of national accreditations that also can measure those quality pieces.
I know this report says nearly half of Texas zip codes are considered child care deserts. Talk to us about the impact this is having on our local communities.
Yeah, so in Harris County, 58% of the zip codes in Harris County are what we call quality childcare deserts. So there's not enough childcare programs in that zip code that meet those quality standards. Then there are children. So a desert is defined as where there is 3 times the number of children than there are childcare spots. So if we had, so where there's that big gap. So it's not a one-to-one, but we want to make sure that when there's that large gap there, then parents don't have the choices that they need. And we want to make sure that parents have the choices they can use and make sure those choices are quality choices so they can really find that center and that family childcare home that best meets their needs.
Yeah, we're talking about spaces that offer high quality education, right? Setting these children up for success. We're not talking about sweet old Miss Sally down the road who has opened her home for decades to welcome children in. We're talking about these spaces, these areas, these centers that really set children up for success, and that is what we're in short of.
That is correct, right. So childcare programs can look many different types. There are childcare homes that are high quality that also can go through that Texas Rising Star system, and there are centers, and then there are those that don't fall in that spectrum as well. So that's where there's childcare licensing through regulation, where all programs have to be licensed. But then there's that step extra to make sure that they're quality, and that's where we really are. Where that desert is missing is that we're really short on those providers that are really in that measure of that quality measurement.
And through my reporting earlier this year, I learned, this has an impact, a broad impact, not just on the immediate family, that child, but the family at large. It comes down to, at times, mom and dad not being able to seek work because it's either work or childcare. And so it's really tough, which then makes way for a major burden on the entire community. Talk to us about, the importance of ensuring families have access to high quality, affordable childcare.
High quality childcare is important for that child's development, right? We know when they're in that great, developmentally appropriate, loving, caring, nurturing, educational setting in that 0 to 5 space, when they get to kindergarten, they are, they're ready to go, and they're ready to be that lifelong love of learner that we want them to be. But the other piece that high quality childcare really does is supports our economy as a whole. When mom and dad can go to work, then we all can go to work. So that's where that piece is. It's not just that childcare development piece, which is a vital piece of it, but it's also a larger workforce piece. My children are grown. I no longer rely on childcare every day. but I do rely on
Yeah.
childcare every day because the people around me rely on childcare, and I couldn't do my job without them. And so it's really this whole community
Yeah.
issue that we all need to get around, and support, even if we don't currently have children under the age of 5 in our households.
Yeah, it certainly takes a village. With that, let's talk about solutions. One solution we have here locally is a partnership between the county. I believe you play a part in that, Baker Ripley, and that's called Early Reach, and that is an opportunity for people to access that high quality, affordable childcare. With that said, Kim, what are lawmakers currently doing to help tackle this problem, this burden?
Childcare is a big, complicated, messy system. It's just going to take funding in all different levels to really get to the level that we need to make sure families can. Not only do we have the access, the brick and mortar buildings, but we have the educators to support those classrooms, and then that's affordable for families as well. And so I think it's really this three-prong approach of thinking about what's happening at the community level. What are cities and counties doing across the state, across the country to solve this issue? Harris County's got some great initiatives. Early Reach is one of them. But then what's the state doing? Excuse me. How's the state investing? And right now we're not. And so as legislators come back to the Capitol in January, that'll be a continual push on what to ask for state revenue to support our program and to add into that so more families can access it. And the federal government has a place to play in it as well. We have all of our funding right now for childcare comes from the federal government. They are supposed to be taking up the budget now that the election is over, and so we'll see what happens in the next couple months as what they approve, and then into the next session and into the Trump administration to figure out what can the federal government continue to do as well. So it's going to take all three levels of government to really do what we need to do to support families on all of our communities, large and small.
Certainly an issue that impacts millions of people. Kim Kofron with Children at Risk, thank you so much for your time this morning.